Yuru was a normal hunter in a small, quiet village who cared about his sister a lot. But then, out of nowhere, this super powerful girl shows up, says she's his actual sister, and literally destroys the whole place. She ends up killing everyone there. Yuru manages to run away with some help from a local trader, and he calls upon two insane spirits to back him up, which completely flips his life upside down. Flashback to some random village, where a lady is giving birth just as the sun is about to come up. The old lady helping her realizes the delivery isn't over yet, because there's actually a second baby on the way. Honestly, this creepy old woman was totally waiting for this. She tells the mom to just hold on and bear the pain for just a bit longer, because the baby needs to be born after the morning starts. Her assistant says that's crazy and impossible, but the old lady doesn't care at all, and basically says, just make it happen, because she wants the twins to rule the whole world. In just a few minutes, the sun finally rises, and the second baby is born. Now the whole house is echoing with two babies crying, and the dad looks completely freaked out. He takes a look at his kids. One has bright blonde hair that looks like daytime, and the other has pitch black hair like the night sky. He starts sweating like crazy, and hits his forehead, realizing that the old legend is actually real, and the kids destined to split day and night are finally here. Fast forward 16 years, Yuru has grown up to be an amazing hunter with crazy good bow skills. He's out in the woods by himself and snipes a bird from way back, then looks up at the sky at the white smoke trails left by planes, which people in his village randomly call dragon farts for some weird reason. Yuru heads back to the village shortly after, where his buddy Danji is waiting for him at the entrance. Danji instantly starts complaining and gets annoyed, asking Yuru why he keeps going out into the woods alone. Danji says he should have taken him along just in case something went wrong or he got hurt, since no one would be around to help him out there. Yuru tells him to take it easy, because their two village guardians have always got his back. Suddenly, Danji spots the bird tied to the horse's saddle, and completely forgets why he was even mad, because he's just thinking about the food now. Walking through the village, everyone waves and says hi to Yuru, from the working farmers to the random kids playing around. He says hi back, and walks over to the house of old Granny Yamaha, who was there when he was born. Danji's mom is also outside, cutting up some logs, so Danji tries to hide behind the horse so she doesn't see him. But she spots him anyway and starts nagging him to be more like his best friend, which is literally exactly what my own mom does to me. Anyway, Yuru goes up to Yamaha and checks if his sister Asa is doing okay. The granny nods, saying that Asa is handling her responsibilities perfectly. Yuru steps into a super old, dark building to hang out with his sister Asa, who is literally locked up inside a cage. Asa smiles the second she sees her brother walk in, and Yuru begins talking to her about the bird he caught a while back. Asa starts cheering him up, but Yuru tells her he actually wanted to hunt a deer or a wild pig, since it hasn't rained at all this year, and if things go on like this, there won't be enough food left for the village. Asa gets kind of worried hearing that, and asks Yuru if he'll have to leave the village to find a job outside if they run out of options. But he instantly snaps back, saying he's absolutely not going anywhere. He reminds her that he practiced so hard to become the best hunter, just so the whole village would depend on him for food, meaning no one would ever let him leave. He promises Asa that he won't leave the village and protect her forever, which makes her feel a lot better. Right around then, Danji's mother pops her head in and tells Yuru that Dera, the traveling trader, just arrived, so Yuru quickly goes down to see him. Dera is already selling stuff to the villagers, telling them that the economy in the outside world is a total mess right now, ever since Hormuz got shut down, and to make things worse, COVID is spreading again out there. So right now, everyone outside really needs medicinal plants. The villagers are super down to trade their herbs with Dera, and he brought some specific meds for the older people too. Yuru walks up a moment later, and Dera spots him and says hi, asking if he needs to buy anything. Yuru feels a bit awkward and says he's good, but Dera throws him a cool-looking, decorated ball anywhere, because he already knew Yuru would want a little gift for Asa. After Dera packs up and leaves, Yuru and Danji hang back to help the farmers dry their crops, and Danji mentions that he can't wait to grow up, so he can leave this place and work in the city. He notes that people who leave almost never come back, so life out there must be pretty awesome. Yuru completely disagrees though. He wants to stay in the village his whole life, so Danji tells him that if he really is that obsessed with Asa, he should just pack her up and take her along. Yuru gets defensive and says Asa has a super important job to do for the village, and she's not allowed to leave. This completely annoys Danji, because he's been hearing that exact same line since they were kids. He points out that he's never even seen Asa, so for all he knows, she might not even exist. Yuru replies that only a few special people are allowed to see his sister, and regular guys like Danji just don't qualify. Danji is literally ready to start a fight over that comment, but right then, both of them hear the sound of aircraft flying really low toward the village. The noise keeps getting louder and louder, making them super confused. And suddenly, someone uses some weird magic power to instantly wipe out the trees that were hiding the village from the outside world. The very next second, military helicopters fly right in, leaving everyone completely shocked, because nobody saw something like this coming. The little kids think the helicopters and planes look super cool, but the adults are absolutely terrified, because they genuinely thought those flying things were real dragons, and not actual high-tech machines. Out of nowhere, soldiers sneak up on them from behind, and just start shooting everyone without mercy. And Dara too, who turned around to see what all the noise was about, gets blindsided and attacked. The panicked villagers run to Granny Yamaha to find out what's happening, and she tells them that someone has destroyed the invisible shield around their village. She's positive that they are looking for Yuru, and orders the villagers to find him and bring him to her right away. Cut to Yuru. He's already running back toward her house, passing by dead bodies of the villagers scattered all over the ground. Danji is totally losing his mind, which makes sense when you see bodies everywhere. But Yuru keeps his cool, checks their necks to see if they're breathing, and then sprints deeper into the village. He spots two soldiers standing at the top of some steps, and before they can even point their rifles at him, he takes one out instantly with his bow, and an arrow. He manages to shoot down the second soldier too, just in the nick of time, messing up the guy's shot so he misses Danji by a few inches. Both boys are completely blown away by these weird weapons that shoot fast, deadly bullets, but Yuru says they don't have time to think about that now. They knock out the downed soldiers and run straight toward the shrine, because Danji's mom and Yuru's sister are both over there. Yuru stops Danji at the main gate and starts moving the rocks at the bottom of a guardian statue to open up a hidden tunnel leading directly to the shrine. Danji is totally shocked to see this, but Yuru isn't answering any of his questions right now, because his only priority is getting to Asa as fast as possible. Meanwhile, one of the helicopters drops off this blonde, bratty girl named Gabai. She uses this crazy power to magically bite and shred her targets from way far away. The poor villagers have zero clue what is even attacking them, so they just try to run for it. But nobody can outrun Gabai, who kills every single adult she sees, though she leaves a little girl alone, telling her that she doesn't hurt kids. Once she clears out all the adults in that sector, she whips out her smartphone to tell the ground team to move in. But surprisingly, nobody answers her. As it happens, Dara is actually like a highly trained secret agent or something, and he already wiped out the entire squad of soldiers that tried to jump him. He cleans the blood off his knife blade and immediately gets on his phone to call his partner, Hana, to let her know that the village's protective barrier is down. But the call won't go through, making him realize that things are getting way out of hand, and they're up against some seriously dangerous people. At the exact same time inside the shrine, a woman wearing an eye patch is dragging Granny Yamaha's knocked-out body along, and she stops right in front of Asa's cage. She looks super annoyed to see her, and uses her powers to blast the cage open, completely crushing Asa's head in one brutal hit. Literally a second later, Yuru comes rushing into the room, and he completely breaks down seeing his sister lying there in a pool of blood. He screams out her name, but instead of Asa answering, the eye patch woman talks back, telling Yuru that she's actually his real sister and she's here to take him back. She says she's going to end everyone here except for him, and Yuru starts panicking, wondering who this psycho lady even is. He gets furious that she's claiming to be his sister after literally murdering Asa, so he tries to shoot her with his bow. But still, the woman is way too fast and releases a shockwave that blows him away, punching a huge hole right through the shrine's wall. Meanwhile, Dara is moving through the village, taking out soldiers with perfect aim while keeping an eye on the choppers circling overhead. He runs into Gabai a moment later and realizes that her weird long-distance biting power is actually a creepy monster spirit that looks like a giant mouth covered in eyes. He doesn't really get fazed by it and aims his gun at her. Gabai is actually kind of shocked that this guy can even see her invisible spirit monster. She commands the mouth spirit to attack him, but Dara quickly dives out of the way and shoots back at her. The monster spirit blocks the bullets to keep its master safe, so Dara switches up his game plan and throws a grenade straight at Gabai. Back at the shrine, Yuru is still awake, and the woman says sorry because she only meant to break his arrow, not actually hurt him. As he struggles to stand up, the toy ball he bought for Asa slips out of his vest and rolls away, getting soaked in the pool of blood. Fortunately, it bumps right into Yamaha's foot, waking her up from being unconscious, and she quickly uses her magic to create a weird creature out of the blood on the floor to pin the woman's arms down. She screams at Dara to grab Yuru and run away into the normal world outside. And right at that exact moment, Dara slides in to do exactly that. He scoops Yuru up and bolts while Yamaha yells at him to make sure these people never get their hands on the kid. Meanwhile, Danji is trying to help his bleeding mother when he spots Yuru being carried away over the trader's shoulder like a sack of potatoes. Dara pulls him through the secret tunnel exit and tells him they're going to hike down the mountainside, but Yuru's entire life has just completely fallen apart, and he has absolutely no idea what to do. Dara promises he'll explain everything once they get somewhere safe, but right as he tries to drag him forward, soldiers inside the choppers start shooting down at them. Dara realizes they can't just run out in the open like this, but honestly, he's way more scared of that woman back there than the helicopters. All of a sudden, Yuru starts crying out under his breath that the woman murdered Asa, killed everyone else, and even badly hurt Granny Yamaha. He complains why she would do something so horrible when they never did anything to hurt her. But Dara cuts him off, saying they have much bigger problems to deal with right now. He pulls out a necklace pendant and tells Yuru to slot it right into the gap between the two guardian stone statues. Yuru yells back that none of this makes any sense, but Dara barks at him to just do it immediately. Yuru has no other option but to do what he says. But when he gets up to the keyhole, he notices a bunch of dirt and leaves are jammed inside it. Dara yells at him to clear it out, knowing full well that snipers have a perfect target lock on Yuru, though he's betting on the fact that they need to take the boy alive. Yuru begins wiping down the trash to clean it up, and then slips the pendant right inside. The moment he does that, Dara dashes forward and shoves his face straight into the dirt. Yuru screams at him, demanding to know why he did that, but a tiny bit of his blood drips onto the jade piece, making it light up. The sniper aims at Dara to take him out of the picture when, all of a sudden, the two guardian statues flash with a bright light, blinding everyone around. Right after that, the helicopters wobble and lose control as two wild, aggressive spirits attack them. Yuru just watches, shocked and terrified as the spirits crash the choppers, sending them falling right toward him. Luckily though, Dara pulls him away from the falling debris. While the air is thick with dust, Yuru hears a couple of voices. A guy's voice points out that their new boss is just a kid, though he seems easy enough to deal with. A girl's voice answers that age doesn't matter. They have to follow his orders no matter what. Once things settle down and smoke clear up, he spots two massive figures standing ahead, and Dara explains to him that strange, magical things exist in this world. Some people call them ghosts, or spirits, or monsters, and lots of other names, but they are actually demons, and the two right there belong to him. Yuru thinks back to when his dad first showed him the hidden tunnel under the statues. He told him the old leader built this path a long time ago, back when the village was a military fort. It linked the guardian statues directly to the temple, and Yuru's dad warned him to use it only during real emergencies. He mentioned that at the end of the path, two guardian spirits named Left and Right are constantly keeping watch. Cut back to the present, where they tell him the exact same thing. The red-haired giant is Right, who mentions they've been looking out for him this whole time, while Left is the white-haired one. She lets him know that starting today, he calls the shots. Yuru is completely spaced out hearing this, wondering if Dera hit him too hard and made him hallucinate. Right messes with Yuru's hair, laughing that this little crybaby is their master now, but Left tells him to show some respect, since even if Yuru is just a kid who grew up before their eyes, he's still the boss. Dera says hello to them too, and the two demons recognize him as a helper. Right says they noticed those annoying metal birds messing around, so they smashed them. Dera thanks them, saying they have to get down the mountain right away, because some really dangerous people are tracking them. But Right shoots back that Dera isn't the boss, so he can't give them orders. Left adds that they only take cues from Yuru, and Dera points out that their master is completely clueless about what's actually happening. Right then, Gabai shows up and comments on how incredibly powerful the two demons look. Dera is stunned that she's standing after he threw a grenade right at her, but she tells him not to underestimate what her demons can do. She glances at Yuru and figures out he's definitely the target they are tracking. She tells him if he is a Slaz sibling, he needs to come with her, which makes Yuru furious as he remembers what the fake Assad did to his sister and the people in the village. He angrily asks Gabai if she actually killed the locals, and she proudly admits it. So, Right and Left can feel his intense anger, and they are totally ready for a fight after being stuck in stone for hundreds of years. They tell Yuru they'll crush anyone he wants, but Yuru says they are the village guardians, so he shouldn't be bossing them around. The two demons are caught off guard by that, but then Yuru explains he's just making a request. First, he wants them to find any survivors left in town and get them somewhere safe. And second, he tells them not to touch Gabai at all, because he wants to handle her himself. He grabs an arrow from his pack and sets his bow, and Gabai panics way more than she did when the grenade went off near her. Yuru tells his demons that other than that, they have total freedom. At the exact same time, Yamaha is still trying to hold down the fake Asa, but the girl slams her into the wall and insults her, promising they won't forget what the old lady did to them. She bolts outside after that, and along the way, she runs past Danji and his mom, but since she already got what she came for, she doesn't bother hurting them. On the other hand, Right gets super hyped up knowing Yuru is letting them loose, and he charges straight toward the village. Gabai tries to snap at him with her jaw demons, but Right is too quick and slips right past the teeth before mocking her and saying his partner is way scarier than he is. A second later, Left delivers a massive kick to the jaw demon, smashing it straight into a rocky wall, and Yuru takes the opportunity to shoot an arrow right into Gabai's leg. He readies another shot, but Gabai moves fast, calling her jaw demon to grab her and escape. Yuru decides to go after her alongside Left, and at the exact same time, Right wakes up a girl passed out in the middle of all the chaos. She is startled when she feels something touching her, and Right remembers that normal humans can't actually see him. He lets her see him and gives his best friendly smile, telling her he's there to help. But instead, the girl faints from shock, leaving Right feeling pretty disappointed. But anyway, he gathers up all the survivors close by, and they are all children. He notices the raiders wiped out the adults completely, but spared the kids, making him wonder about how they chose who to kill. He steps out of the house and spots Asa with her eye patch running down. He's surprised when she freezes upon seeing him, but she quickly squares up and blasts her energy straight at him. Right is startled by the move, but gets a handle on it fast, unleashing a massive shout that sends Asa's blast flying right back at her. She manages to survive, and while Right complains like an old man about kids lacking respect nowadays, Asa takes off. Right is annoyed with her again, but then he catches a familiar scent from her. Meanwhile, Gabai is cornered, even though she's holed up inside a building, and using her monsters to jam the entrance. She feels terrified, since Left's insane strength is tearing her demons' mouths apart. The muscular demon wedges her hands into the mouth and rips the jaws wide open, giving Yuru an open window to landing another arrow in Gabai's shoulder. Fortunately, Asa bursts in right then and uses her magic to collapse the whole place on top of Gabai. Yuru jumps up onto the debris and aims at them once more, demanding the eye patch girl tell him who she really is. She promises on their mother that she's his actual sister, but Yuru doesn't buy it. He argues that Asa shouldn't be taller than him, since she's a girl, and she mentions the outside world has way better food, which is why she grew so much. Yuru assumes she's just making things up, but right then, Right shows up and tells him he shouldn't be fighting his own family. He confirms that Asa's scent matches Yuru's perfectly, proving they are related. Yuru loses his mind over this and questions who the girl living in the shrine all these years actually was. The real Asa explains she was just a fake created by Grandma Yamaha to trap him there. She shares that a decade ago, their folks took her and fled the village, and Yamaha worried Yuru would leave next. So they set up a fake sibling, knowing Yuru would stick around because he's such a sweet, protective brother. At the exact same time, the fake Asa strangely heals up from her wounds and changes into something incredibly creepy and monstrous. Back near the town gates, Yuru starts doubting things after hearing what his real sister said, but Dera steps in. He tells Asa she should back off for now, since she already found her brother. Yuru snaps at him, but Dera reminds him that keeping up this fight will completely destroy the village and put the surviving kids in serious danger. Yuru can't risk that, so he decides to listen to Dera's advice. He lets Asa know she can leave safely with Gabai, as long as she promises not to hurt anyone else here, and she agrees instantly. Yuru and his crew split immediately while Gabai argues with Asa, insisting they shouldn't drop the plan to bring her brother back. Asa answers that seeing Yuru alive and well is plenty for now. Not just that, she wants to take care of Gabai's injuries first. Gabai comments that her brother is incredibly tough and talented, which makes Asa feel proud. She suddenly bursts into tears because her brother is really out there, and Gabai comforts her when all of a sudden, the village shield starts fixing itself through Yamaha's magic. At the exact same time, two hikers are chilling outside the village boundaries, chatting about rumors of a hidden town in these mountains. They talk about searching for this legendary spot that only lost travelers find when suddenly Yuru and Dera sprint right past them, and they are completely shocked to see them rocking old-school clothes from the 17th century. In the meantime, Dera mentions to Yuru that the village is invisible again because the protective wall has gone back up. Yuru asks if that means they are locked out, and Dera says they could get back in, but it's a bad idea since Asa already knows the layout and can tear down the shield easily. He suggests they check out the modern world instead and lose themselves in the crowds, though Yuru has absolutely no clue what this modern world even is. They run all the way down and hit a main road where Dera's co-worker Hana is waiting in a vehicle. She is super annoyed because he didn't warn her he'd be showing up with a couple of demons. The two spirits are surprised she can actually see them, but Yuru is just totally baffled by the massive blue container she's using to pack away their gear. The demons are wondering the exact same thing, completely ignoring everything else being said unless it's about the car. Hana introduces herself to Yuru and explains she partners with Dera, promising they'll bring him somewhere secure. They tell him to hop inside, but he starts sweating because he doesn't trust this bizarre machine at all. Dera tries to explain how technology lets people build metal rides that humans can control. Yuru looks completely blank and doesn't get it at all. So Hana gets behind the wheel, cranks it up, and tells him this machine is packed with tiny horsepower that makes it move incredibly fast. Yuru and his spirits completely get and buy into that explanation, and they hit the road toward the city. Meanwhile, Asa and Gabai are outside the barrier, waiting on their backup. Shortly after, a guy named Jin pulls up with medical help. He questions Gabai how she's holding up, and she says she just took bullets to her shoulder and leg, which is no big deal since she's used to getting hurt. Asa and Jin give her a look for trying to act tough while bleeding out. Jin asks if they crossed paths with Yuru, and Asa says yes. The medics are surprised none of their search teams spotted him and wish they had extra choppers for backup. That just gives Jin a massive headache because they lost a ton of men and 2 helicopters today, and his boss is going to flip. Gabai mentions Yuru got away with an older guy named Dera, and hearing that name makes Jin absolutely furious. Since their families are enemies, he blames his bad luck for picking a day when someone from the Tatara family was visiting the village, and wishes he could be there to handle the guy himself. Right around then, Dera fills Hana in on everything, who feels they are up against some seriously powerful people. if they literally brought a whole army with them. Dara is pretty sure they belong to the Kejimori family, because nobody else could pull off something like this, and they definitely know what he looks like, and his name by now. So he decides to get a makeover, change his name, and just move away to a completely new place. Right at that moment, the two guardians feel something weird nearby. They tap on the car window to warn Dara that some demons are tracking them. Dara and Hana completely freak out, thinking the enemy has already tracked them down, but the guardians tell them to relax, because the approaching demons are actually friendly. Pretty soon, a woman wearing all white and riding a magical white horse catches up to their car. She smiles and says hello to the two guardians, mentioning that it's been a solid 400 years since they last saw each other. The guardians say hello to her and say that Yuru is their new boss now. The woman gets glad to see him, but when she finds out Yuru is one of the kids who split the day and night time, she gets worried about his future. She asks the guardians what they plan to do now, and Wright says they are going to hide in a faraway village. The woman flies away after that, wishing them all the best, and saying she can't wait to hear their stories when they get back. While all of this was happening, Dara and Hana were completely shocked and staring with their mouths open, because that woman and her horse were not normal at all. Yuru asks them what those things were, and the two of them snap at him to be polite. They tell him that those two demons are Asura Sama, an actual god who is on a whole different level than regular demons. Dara and Hana start praying and thanking their lucky stars that they got to see a god while they are still alive. But the guardians are annoyed by how humans treat different kinds of demons so differently. Hana then explains to Yuru that there are all sorts of demons, from powerful gods to minor spirits, and they affect their masters in different ways. By nighttime, they reach a city, and Yuru is totally amazed when he sees so many tiny lights from far away. Hana stops the car at a rest stop and buys some new clothes for Yuru, so he stops looking like an actor who ran away from a theater. Yuru is surprised to see a t-shirt for the very first time, and then Dara walks in with some options for him to try. Yuru is surprised by his new outfit, but then his attention shifts to the food that Hana brought along. He is shocked to see 100% pure white rice without any cheap grains mixed in. And besides that, the rice balls are wrapped in seaweed, which is a total luxury back in his village. He panics, asking Hana if she's royalty or something to be able to afford this. But Dara tells him that these things are super common here. Yuru can't even figure out how to unwrap the packaged rice balls, so Hana helps him rip open the plastic wrapper. Yuru loves the taste of the packaged rice balls, and Dara tells him to try the other food too. Wright asks what kind of place this is, and Dara explains that it's a spot where cars pull over, so people can eat, relax and do some shopping. Both guardians get excited to hear this, and Dara wants to know if they want to check it out. They say no because they want to keep an eye on their master, so Dara uses this opportunity to go grab dinner with Hana. Once they are inside a restaurant, Hana asks Dara how much Yuru actually knows. Dara tells her that when he told Yuru that the girl locked up in the temple wasn't his sister, he lost it, so he didn't want to risk telling him anything else. He tells Hana not to say anything extra right now, since Yuru is just a kid who can't handle that kind of stress. She replies that she doesn't really get how his mind works, because she isn't a fan of kids. She questions Dara if he plans to bring Yuru to his house, but he says no, explaining that their enemies definitely know his name by now. He is going to move to a new place. Hana says it must be rough being homeless and taking care of someone else's kid, but Dara tells her that she's going to help him out too. She completely unenthusiastically agrees to do what she can, and then completely out of the blue, Dara tells her that she should marry him. Hana pulls out her self-defense knuckles to smack some sense into Dara for even saying that, and everyone around them looks over to watch a proposal go completely wrong. At the same time, Dara tries to calm Hana down by explaining they aren't actually getting married for real, and it will just be a fake marriage to keep Yuru safe. He says they need to blend into society, and the easiest way to do that is by acting like a married couple. Hana tells him they don't need to get married for that, because she could just pretend to be Yuru's older sister, and Dara could be their single dad. Dara explains that this would cause two problems. In the first scenario, he would look like a loser whose wife ditched him, leaving her two children behind. Everyone would assume something is wrong with him, which is why his wife left. The second scenario would be him saying his wife passed away, and he is raising the kids alone. That would just make everyone feel sorry for him, and they would constantly try to interfere to help out. Dera explains to Hana that whatever happens, living as a single dad with 2 big kids would get way too much unwanted attention from the neighbors. But if he says Yuru is his son from his first marriage, and he scored a beautiful young wife later, people will just think he's a cool guy and mind their own business. He tells Hana thanks for getting the whole situation and saying yes to his proposal, and she screams at him that she will never marry him. In the meantime, right and left are checking out the car outside to find where the tiny horses that pull it are hidden. They can't seem to find a thing, and then Yuru comes over to apologize to them, since he finished all the food and didn't save any for them. Right feels super glad that his new boss is so sweet, but left tells him to stop stressing over them, since demons don't eat human food anyway. He then gets straight to the point and wants them to spill everything they know about him, along with his sister. Both demons turn serious when they hear this question, and Right says they guarded the entrance of Higashi village for 400 years, so they only saw people coming and going. They don't know much about what went down inside the village, but they did see Yuru's parents take him out of the village plenty of times. Right reminds Yuru how his dad used to take him hunting when he was little, and he clearly remembers those core memories he shared with his father. Left then says they never saw his twin sister, and never even heard anything about her besides the announcement of her birth. In the beginning, they assumed she might have passed away, but a decade ago, they saw Yuru's parents escape the village with a girl whose blood smelled exactly like Yuru's. Hearing this completely shocks Yuru, because he always thought his parents abandoned both him and Usna, but they actually only left him behind. He wants to ask his parents why they abandoned him. Because of that, he decides to track down the real Asa, since she will know where their parents are hiding. Right then, Dera and Hana get back, and Yuru is shocked to see Hana absolutely boiling with anger and biting her lip as she tells Yuru that from now on, they will be taking care of him legally. Yuru has no idea what that means, or guardian means, so Hana explains that it basically means they are his parents now, who will take the blame in case he gets into any trouble. With that out of the way, Dera tells Yuru they are going to be on the road for a long time, so he should go use the restroom now. Yuru tells him he already went in the bushes, and Dera is slightly disappointed in him. Hana tells Yuru not to sit on the roof of the car, because it will look suspicious to people, and Yuru says that the guardians have been chilling up there the whole time. Hana explains that regular people can't see demons, and Right adds that only demon users like Yuru can spot them. Left mentions that they can make themselves visible to ordinary people if they want, while a few rare individuals have the natural ability to see them. After that, they start driving again, and Dera tells Yuru that the group backing Asa is the Kagemori clan. He says they have some demon users too, since they originally came from Higashi village. Exactly like him, they ditched the village after some major disagreements happened, and then built a life for themselves in the modern world. Hana says she wants nothing to do with them, because they are dangerous people, and Dera completely agrees. He says their families have lived out here for generations, so they don't know much about the deep secrets of the village, but they still do the same jobs that their ancestors passed down to them. He talks about how Grandma Yamaha wanted to keep Higashi village completely hidden, knowing that outsiders would try to exploit the twins' powers for their own gain. Dera tells Yuru that his job is to gather supplies and info for the villagers, while Hana works random jobs out here and has never actually set foot in the village. Dera says he has no clue what Yamaha is plotting, but since his family is loyal to the village, he has to follow orders and keep Yuru safe. Yuru remembers how angry Yamaha was about Asa finding him, and how she ordered Dera to make sure nobody tracks him down. He asks Dera what makes him and his sister so special, and Dera tells him about the old prophecy, when a guy and a girl are born in an eastern village, on the exact day when day and night are perfectly equal, the world will split apart. Right explains that the last time this happened was 400 years back, when twins who split the day and night were born in Higashi village. Back then, a massive war broke out, splitting the entire country into East and the West. Way before that, when another pair of twins was born, The country was divided into north and the south, and both times, demon users were the ones behind it. Yuru is stunned to hear this, and asks if they are cursed children destined to throw the world into total chaos. But Right tells him it's actually the greedy people wanting their power who tear the world apart. Yuru says he doesn't have any kind of power, but Right tells him that even if he doesn't have it yet, he definitely has the potential for it. Dara mentions that Asa has already unlocked her power, and Right gets excited as he explains that her power is called Break. It can destroy absolutely anything by force, no matter what it is targeting. Its matching twin power is called Seal, and just like it sounds, it can lock down anything instantly. Hana wants to know more, and asks what happens next if these two powers clash, so Dara looks to the Guardians for an explanation. He asks if anyone has ever managed to hold both powers at the exact same time, and Left says she has no idea about anything like that. With that being said, Yuru remembers there was a protective barrier around the village, so he asks Dara how he managed to slip in and out so easily. Dara explains that you have to follow a very specific secret path to get to the village. It involves driving around a specific pile of rocks a few times, turning at exact angles at certain intersections, and things like that. He says the directions are super complicated, but his family taught him the trick when he was just a kid, so now he can head back to the village whenever he needs to. Dara adds that occasionally, hikers who get totally lost in the mountains stumble onto the path by pure luck, which is exactly how Yuru's mom ended up there. Yuru is surprised to hear this, but then he remembers how his mother used to tell him she came from a faraway place where his name meant night. She had promised to show him that world one day, and he realizes he has finally made it to her hometown. A few days later, Yuru has completely figured out how to use modern bathrooms. He figures out how to flush and wash his hands properly, but he's still terrified of the automatic hand dryer because the noise is way too loud. Later on, he goes for a stroll through a park with his demons, and they are all amazed to see so many people hanging out together. They say that the modern world is pretty cool, and this place must be the capital city, since there's a massive crowd here. Yuru tells them Dara said the actual capital is a place called Tokyo, where over 10 million people live, and the Guardians are completely blown away when they hear that. They are trying to figure out how much rice 10 million people would eat in just one day. But anyways, he says this is the safest spot for them to hide, and Left mentions that they will look for her sister too. Yuru mentions that Dara and Hana are nice people, but they are connected to Granny Yamaha. She lied to him for years and tried to keep him stuck in the village using a fake Asa. That is why he doesn't trust them, but he can't trust the real Asa either. He wants to catch her so she can take him to their parents, because only their parents know why they ran away from the village with just their daughter. He questions his spirits if they are going to help him, and Right gets excited because it sounds like fun. Left tells her partner to stop acting silly when their master is being so intense. Right asks for her opinion on the matter, and she says she hates being chased by anyone because she is the ultimate predator, so she wants to do the chasing instead. Yuru feels a bit scared by her attitude, but Right is proud of her. After that, they go to talk to Dara, who just finished talking to Hana on the phone. He tells Yuru that they have good news, because Hana found a place for them to stay. Instead, Yuru is really curious about his phone, and Dara tries to explain it to him, but he can't find the right words, so he decides to explain it the way Hana did, and tells him it is like a smoke signal meant for just one person. Pretty soon, they arrive at the apartment Hana rented for them, and Yuru is totally confused when he walks in. He keeps looking around the apartment because he wants to know what these huge stone buildings look like on the inside. Hana is so used to his shocked face that she doesn't even care anymore. She tells Dara that the electricity and water are already turned on, and they are just waiting for the gas connection to start working too. She gives Dara a Western-style room and tells Yuru he can have the traditional Japanese room with tatami mats. Yuru goes crazy when he sees the tatami mats in his room, because they are super expensive in the village and only used by a sea, or for really special moments. He is about to lick the mats to check if they are actually real, and then he flops down on them, asking Hana if she is absolutely sure he can stay in such a pricey place. Right then, he opens his eyes, spotting a dog and a cat watching him, and suddenly, without warning, they smack him right in the face. Yuru's loud shout alerts his spirits who were checking out the restroom, and they run to their master's room right away to see what happened. Hana introduces her pets, the dog Gyro and the weird orange cat Kotsu. Right and left sit down right away and bow to the pets, thanking them for letting them stay. They introduce themselves as Yuru's guardians, and he is confused about why they are acting this way. He gets even more surprised when the cat and dog shake hands with his guardians, and right at that moment, Dera walks in. He says hello to the animals as well, saying he has never seen Hana's demons before. Yuru completely loses it when he hears that, because he can't believe a normal-looking dog and a creepy cat that looks like a pervert are actually demons. So, Hana's demons don't like how he sounds. That's why they cut his finger and then punch him hard in the stomach to teach him a lesson. Right and left tell Yuru to be polite to their hosts, but he still can't process the news. Following that, Hana puts a temporary nameplate with her last name on the door. Dera says that, since he is her husband, it should have his name, but Hana reminds him that their enemies already know who he is, so it is safer if they call her by her name. She tells Yuru to use this name too, and he freaks out when he finds out they both have last names, because where he comes from, only royal people have last names. Hana tells him that everyone has a last name here, but Dera makes it sound cooler by telling Yuru that Hana owns a whole mountain. Hana yells at him to stop confusing him, and explains that she just inherited some land, but she can't take care of it, and nobody wants to buy it either. Yuru asks her excitedly if he can hunt on her land, which is a pretty wild pickup line. Hana tells him he can't do that, because you need a license to hunt in this world. Yuru finds that hard to believe, and Dera adds that you even need a license to drive cars, leaving him completely shocked. Around the same time, Asa is in a fancy mansion, practicing her powers. She snaps her finger to shoot a tiny bit of energy at an apple in front of her, and though she hits it perfectly, she only has enough power to peel it. She decides to use her whole palm to push out more power, but this time her aim is completely off, and she ends up wrecking the garden. Right then, the boss of the Kajemori family, who owns the mansion, walks in, and Asa apologizes for ruining his garden again. He says it is totally fine as long as she doesn't hurt anyone, and tells her to keep practicing. Then he tells Jin to clean up the mess, and Jin summons his demon right away, a little piranha that gets huge as it swims through the gravel and swallows the broken statues Asa just smashed. Right after that, Asa asks the boss why he is here today, and he says he came to check on Gabu, who's totally hooked on video games, and tells the old man he didn't need to come all this way. The old man checks on her and her demons, and Asa asks if she wants the apple she couldn't destroy. Gabu is happy to take it, but Asa doesn't have a knife. Good thing, Jin has it covered, and he makes his piranha spit out a knife it was holding. Asa takes the knife, but Gabu says she won't eat anything that came out of a gross fish's stomach. But anyway, she changes her mind pretty quickly and enjoys the apple with everyone. The boss then tells Gabu she has to stay here and heal, and Asa will take care of her. Asa is surprised to hear this, but the old man explains that if people find out she and her brother left the mountain, they'll do whatever it takes to kidnap them. He doesn't fully trust his own family members either, and tells Asa she needs to stay safe here. He orders Jin to go look for Yuru instead, and Asa looks sad when she hears this. Jin points out that he doesn't even know what Yuru looks like, and Gabu wishes she had taken a picture. Asa draws a really cute sketch. Gabu draws him looking like a ghost, and her demons draw a painting in an old Japanese style. Jin can't trust any of those drawings, so he decides to investigate Dera first. Later on, Asa goes up to him to warn him that her brother's demons have an amazing sense of smell, so he needs to watch out for them. At the same time, Gabu's demons give him a sketch of left and yeah, and he is impressed by their art skills again. Then that night, Dera shaves off his beard, since he wants a completely new look, but Hana isn't feeling it at all, because she thought his beard was the only thing that made him look kind of good. Dara feels pretty down after hearing that, and he starts acting too much like they are a real married couple. He asks Hana where their son is, and she just replies that Yuru went for a walk with his guardians. With that, Dera starts looking through his bags and realizes his big knife is gone. He asks Hana if she saw it, and she says she didn't even touch his smelly bags. Well, so Darren realizes that means Yuru took the machete, and he's wondering where he went, because if the police catch him, things will get really bad. Hana is super mad at Yuru right now, and she's ready to ground him like a strict mom the second he gets back. Cut to Yuru standing on top of a building, and he remarks that the modern world is just huge, and finding Asa here, it's so simple to do this here. Lef thinks she is probably searching for Yuru as well, so they'll run into each other eventually. All of a sudden, Yuru gets an idea, and he questions his demons if they can track other demons like they did with the lady on the horse. Left says yes, and then Yuru questions Right if he can track Asa by the scent of her blood, and both demons confirm they can totally do it. Yuru figures out a plan. He says they need to find a spot with lots of demons and Asa's scent, since Dera mentioned the Kejimori family has plenty of demon masters. Left and Right love the idea, and they instantly unleash their full power, shifting into their wild golden forms. They catch Yuru and fly up into the sky to scan the city. After flying around for a bit, they find a spot packed with demons and Asa's scent. They touch down close by, and Yuru immediately throws up due to motion sickness. Right picks him up by the head and says he can smell Asa close by, along with some demons. Left asks if they can just smash the demons when they show up, but Yuru wants to see if they can just talk things out peacefully. She answers that some demons just won't listen to humans, so he might be expecting too much. And right then, Right notices Asa's scent getting closer. They head down to a parking garage where Jin and his guys are looking for info on Dera. Yuru and his demons duck behind a pillar, and Right confirms these guys smell like demons. And Asa, he says their demons must be close, and questions Yuru if he can spot them, but he only sees those three guys. All of a sudden, Asa shows up, and the moment Yuru sees her, the people from his village who died come to his mind, and rushes forward to attack her. Right tries to warn him that this girl doesn't smell like Asa, but he's too late. Yuru is right about to strike, when Jin's massive piranha jumps him and traps him in its mouth. Yuru has no idea what's happening, so Jin mentions he heard his demons had a great sense of smell, which is why he used Asa's blood as bait, and the Asa standing there is just an illusion from his demon. At the exact same time, Hana is freaking out and telling Dera they have to find Yuru fast, thinking he might end up hurting someone, since he doesn't know how things work. Hana points out that it'll be way worse if he gets injured. Dera is surprised that she cares this much about Yuru, but Hana tells him she honestly doesn't care if the kid lives or loses his life. She explains that he doesn't have an ID, and even worse, no health insurance, so they'll have to pay all his medical bills out of their own pockets, which completely freaks Dera out too. Hana turns to her dog Gyro right away and tells him to track Yuru by smelling his jacket. Gyro low-key judges how bad Yuru smells first, and then starts leaping across buildings to track him down. Meanwhile, Kotsu tracks Gyro's live location on a map, and Dera is shocked that a cat can use modern tech so easily, so perfectly. Hana is shocked that Yuru is already in Tokyo, and Dera wonders what he's even doing there. In the meantime, Jin thanks Yuru for coming all this way and saving him the trouble of tracking him down. Yuru gets furious and tries to break out by hacking at the piranha's teeth, but they're way too tough for his blade to cut. Jin's henchmen order Yuru's demons to show themselves, and the two of them are left wondering what their next move should be. Left mentions that the guys don't seem to have any weapons on them, but Right points out that the other two men also have a pair of demons backing them up. They aren't sure how to handle this, but then they just decide to step out and deal with whatever comes their way. Jin's guys are happy to see this happen and order them to freeze right there if they want to keep their boss alive. Instead, Right and Left just keep walking straight toward them. Right asks Left who they should grab first, and she tells him that focusing on Jin is probably their smartest bet. Yuru says sorry for completely losing his cool, but Left tells him to just stay right where he is, because that keeps Jin's demons from making a move. Jin and his crew are stunned to see a demon giving orders to her own master, but Right just laughs it off. and says their master has basically given them total freedom to act. Jin decides to take them on directly and tells his other demon to bring out some weapons. The little piranha literally spits up a pile of guns and swords, prompting Yuru to warn his demons to stay sharp, since he knows exactly how dangerous those weapons are. The men start shooting at the guardians, but the bullets don't do a single thing to them, since their bodies are literally made of stone. Even shotgun blasts don't leave a scratch, making the two guardians wonder if there's actually anything here to worry about. All of a sudden, one guy fires a grenade right at Right, but he just shrugs it off like an absolute boss. That said, the only time he actually feels anything is when the piranha spits a stone statue at him. Out of nowhere, the bald guy lunges with a crowbar to strike, but Left blocks the hit and slams him hard against a pillar. Jin tries to slash Right with a sword, but it literally breaks upon impact, leading the two guardians to decide it's time to stop holding back. But the blonde guy calls on his demons Right at that moment and drops a massive turtle right on top of Left to pin her to the ground. At the same time, a tiny rabbit pulls on Right's outfit, trips him up, and completely overwhelms him with a barrage of crazy fast. Under heavy hits, Right calls out to Left for some backup, but she's totally stuck in place because that turtle is insanely heavy. Yuru realizes his demons are in serious trouble right now, so he scans the parking lot quickly and instantly cooks up a plan. He throws a machete straight into the turtle's eye, forcing it to flinch and leap away. This gets Left free, and she immediately springs up and crushes the piranha's teeth with a massive kick. With Yuru now in the clear, he chucks a piranha tooth at the bald guy and tells Right to completely cut the power. Right lets out a massive roar, shattering every single light bulb in the garage, and uses the sudden pitch black for Yuru to slip away. The little rabbit warns its master that Yuru's demons are escaping, but Jin tells him not to stress out, since the third guy's demons are already blocking the exit. All of a sudden, he remembers Asa saying that her brother basically thinks like a natural hunter, and he barely manages to react in time as Yuru pops up behind him and goes for his legs. He can't completely dodge the strike, and he quickly orders his second demon to turn the lights back on. His crew sees that Yuru has taken the bleeding Jin hostage, and his demons haven't actually run off either. The blonde guy snaps at them, asking how demons could just run away and leave their master in danger. But the guardians fire back, saying they have total confidence in their master and were never actually far enough to let anything happen to him. In the meantime, Yuru asks Jin point blank if he was one of the people who raided his home village. Jin admits it, taking complete blame for the raid, and Yuru instantly feels like taking him out. Even so, he keeps his temper in check and commands him to get Asa down here, since he wants to see her face to face. Blondie is completely thrown off that Yuru just wants to talk to Asa, rather than demanding his twin back like anyone else normally would. Jin tells him that the Higashi village doesn't actually care about both twins, to which Yuru responds that he isn't speaking for his village at all, just for himself. Jin tells him he should just come to the Kejimori estate, since Asa has been waiting around for him there anyway. Yuru knows that walking straight in there is as risky as entering a trap, and orders Jin to bring her to this exact spot right now. Out of nowhere, the bald guy asks for a quick timeout, so he can patch up Jin's cuts before he completely bleeds out. Yuru agrees to it, and mentions Jin must be pretty fragile to bleed that much from such a light scratch. Jin is surprised to hear that, and questions Yuru if he deliberately held back on the strike. Yuru says yes, explaining that he could tell Jin wasn't actually trying to kill him, so he spared him, but if it were a real fight to the end, he wouldn't have been nice about it. Still, Yuru realizes that if Jin really wanted him dead, he could have easily pulled it off with that very first surprise attack. Right around then, Right notices the giant piranha closely and realizes it's Jin's demon creature. While the bunny and the turtle belong to Blondie, Left asks the bald guy where his own demons are hiding, and he answers that they've actually been right there the whole time. Left wonders if he left them behind, just because they aren't great in a fight, but he just points out toward a massive eye peeking through the doorway, and explains that his demons are honestly just way too massive to fit inside a cramped space like this. That is exactly what she mentioned. Yuru starts panicking, feeling like he's looking at an actual Attack on Titan scene. Jin tells him straight up that he won't be calling Asa over. No matter what happens, he promises that Yuru won't get hurt if he agrees to come to the Kejimori estate. Since nobody there actually wants to harm him, Yuru glances at the rabbit, the turtle, and then at the giant demon staring from outside the door. Realizing his guardians won't be able to fight them all off while keeping him safe, he decides to accept the deal and tells Jin he'll tag along as long as his guardians are treated properly. He then demands Jin take him directly to Asa without wasting time. Before heading out, though, Jin decides to clear up the scene. He commands his massive piranha to swallow all the weapons and mess lying around the floor, explaining to Yuru that his specific demons act as scavengers. The big fish eats everything up, meaning the little one can bring them back out whenever needed. He notes that he usually feeds his fish gear that could come in super handy during a tight spot. Yuru doesn't really get all the technical terms Jin throws around, but he can tell these demons are incredibly useful. In the meantime, Left gets curious about the turtle that had her pinned down earlier. She asks Blondie how heavy his turtle actually is, and he says he's never officially weighed it, but it can actually get way heavier than what she just felt. Left feels pretty down on herself after hearing that, muttering that she clearly needs to train harder. Blondie is totally falling for the muscle mommy right now, and at that exact moment, his rabbit notices Right staring him down angrily. The rabbit makes a smug face just to mock him, which completely triggers Right. He questions Yuru if he's any good at hunting, and Yuru coldly says that they should set up traps for rabbits, since they make an amazing soup. Blondie and his rabbit look absolutely terrified at that remark, but right then, the parking lot security guard finally decides to show up. Blondie and Baldy step up to handle him, explaining that the lights just randomly cut out. The guard is shocked to see all the broken fixtures, and focuses on getting everyone out of the area first, completely oblivious to the fact that there are mostly demons around him. On the other side of things, Asa wakes up to a message from Jin, letting her know he's bringing Yuru over, and she instantly loses her mind. She hits Gabby to wake her up, shares the amazing news, but then immediately stresses out, wondering what outfit she should even wear to see her brother. Meanwhile, Jin is driving Yuru toward the Kejimori estate, and calls the big boss to give him the update. The old man is really glad to hear it, and tells Jin to take his time driving, since he needs a bit to get back from a hot spring trip he took with his demons. Along the way, Yuru just stares at the massive buildings as they pull up to the fancy Kejimori estate. Right and Left stay completely on guard the entire time, and Right asks Jin why the place seems so deserted when they heard the Kejimori family had tons of demon users. Jin clarifies that there are plenty of demons close by, but they're kept in a restricted VIP section just up ahead. They pass through an old wooden gate that acts as a magical shield. The moment they cross the line, Right and Left feel so many demon presences that they literally lose count and can't even tell how many pairs are out there. At the exact same time, Gabby's demons alert her that Yuru has arrived, and she passes that info along to Asa, who is beyond thrilled to see him. She invites Gabby to come along, but Gabby declines because she doesn't want to face Yuru again in case he shoots more arrows into her. Asa completely gets her reasoning and heads out alone while Gabby just goes back to sleep. Right around then, Hana's dog demon is stuck outside the barrier since it can't cross over. Her cat tracks his exact location perfectly on Google Maps, leaving both Dara and Hana confused about why Yuru stopped at such a massive compound. But once they realize the property belongs to the Kejimori family, they completely lose it. Hana assumes Yuru got captured, but Dara is sure the Guardians wouldn't let that happen easily. In any case, he decides to head over and get Yuru out of there. Hana offers to give him a ride, but he tells her to stay low since the Kejimori family still doesn't know they are working together. Meanwhile, at the same time, Yuru arrives at the main house of the Kejimori family, where a weird blonde guy named Asuma shows up. Jin asks him what he's doing awake so late, and Asuma says he came to greet the other twin. Jin is surprised to hear this, since he never shared that info with Asuma, but Asuma just says he hears things quickly. He notices Jin is hurt, but doesn't really care, and goes straight to say hi to Yuru. Right at that moment, Asa comes running over, and Yuru looks annoyed. Still, she is super excited, and asks for a hug, but he completely rejects her. Asa gets upset when he says no, and then Yuru makes it clear he didn't come to hang out. He just wants some answers. Asa is ready to tell him everything, but Yuru tells her to get Jin's injury checked out first. Asuma takes advantage of this moment and suggests that while Asa takes Jin to the nurse, he can give Yuru a tour of the place. Jin cuts him off and refuses for Yuru, saying Yuru is their guest and will stay by their side. Asuma doesn't argue and just leaves after taking the loss, while Jin tells the bald guy to stand guard at the main gate. He also warns Yuru to stay close to him inside the house, so he doesn't get lost. After that, they head to the medical room where a stunning purple-haired doctor treats Jin. Once his stitches are done, he gives a small bottle of Asa's blood back to the doctor, which reminds Yuru of something. He mentions that only monsters take blood from living people, but Asa points out it was actually her choice. The attractive doctor explains to Yuru that modern medicine allows them to collect blood safely without causing any pain. Yuru doesn't buy any of it and calls it dark magic or something similar, or something like that, but Asa promises him that there's absolutely nothing to worry about and doesn't hurt at all when a professional does it. With that settled, she stands right before him with a really serious expression and asks again if she can hug him now. He says no and starts making angry noises at her, saying his little sister should be way smaller and way cuter, but she is actually pretty big. Asa explains to him that if he finishes his food down here, he will grow up big and strong, and says she is healthy too. Yuru complains that the food here is too salty and has way too much seasoning. Though he does like the rice, he suddenly remembers what he actually came for and questions Asa about where their mom and dad are. Her mood completely flips the moment she hears this question, and she answers Yuru grumpily that their parents aren't around. He thinks that makes no sense, but Asa tells him straight up that their parents are missing, and she has absolutely no clue where they went. She looks over at Jin to share the whole story, and he asks how much details he should give Yuru. Asa tells him to share everything, since she doesn't want to hide anything or lie to her brother. Jin isn't thrilled about that, but since it's Asa's call, he goes along with it. He explains that a lot went down after Yuru's parents left the village. The Kejimori family took care of them, and after a little while, they planned a trip to visit Yuru's mom's hometown. Yuru gets super excited hearing this because he remembers his mom was from this side of the world and always wanted to bring him to her home. Jin mentions that his mother came from Okinawa, and Asa points out that it's an island down south, so you have to catch a flight to get there. Ever since the attack on his village, Yuru knows what airplanes are, but he's still pretty shocked to learn that they are used for travel. Asa explains that her mom just wanted to show her own parents that she hadn't gotten lost in the mountains, but had actually raised a family, which is why she was so desperate to go back. She left a young Asa behind with the Kejimori family and boarded the plane, but by the time the plane landed, both of their parents had completely vanished. Yuru is totally blown away by this and asks if their parents somehow fell out of the plane, but Asa tells him that's impossible. Yuru asks how something like that could even happen and wonders if they didn't have any guards with them. Jin answers that they had a really dependable demon-wielder bodyguard, but he disappeared right along with them. Yuru remarks that the guard sounds pretty shady now, and Jin as well, and Asa agree with that guess. Asa mentions that the guard might have been a spy from the Higashi village, sent to get close to their parents and capture them. Jin points out that it was a massive failure on the Kejimori family's part, no matter how it went down. Yuru asks Asa how she can even trust these guys after their parents went missing, and she explains that she trusts the Kejimori family because the old boss has kept her safe all this time, even when the village kept sending hitmen after her. Yuru doesn't know what to say to that, and the room goes totally quiet and awkward. At the same time, some enemies have figured out that Yuru and Asa are both at the Kejimori mansion right now. While their strongest fighters are either hurt or out of town, they think it's the perfect moment to grab both of them, especially since Asa's powers drop a lot at night, and Yuru hasn't even woken up his powers yet. One of them asks how they are going to handle Yuru's demons, and the boss running the plan replies that it doesn't matter if Yuru gets killed right now, since they only really need Asa's head to get what they want. They choose to take action, but fortunately, right and left can sense their bad vibes from a mile away. Left immediately runs to the window and pulls the blinds shut just as two creepy yin-yang demons smash through the glass. Everyone bolts as fast as they can with the demons hot on their heels, and Yuru blames Jin for walking him straight into a trap. Jin tells him that these aren't Kejimori clan demons, and that enemies have broken right through their security barrier. Right and left think they can take the demons down, but Jin asks them to try and catch their master alive. If they can, Yuru asks what happens if they end up killing the master, and Blondie answers that if demons aren't passed on before their master dies, they turn into rogue demons and get stuck haunting a place just like ghosts. If they don't find a new master, they eventually fade away, which Yuru thinks is really sad. He decides he doesn't want to kill the demons or their masters and questions Jin if he has a bow and arrow handy. Jin immediately orders his small fish to spit out any bow and arrow stuff it has, and there's a ton of random gear in the pile that Yuru doesn't even recognize. Still, he grabs the bow that looks most familiar to him, aims an arrow at the oncoming demons, and lets a powerful shot fly right at them. But his aim is completely off, and the arrow flies straight into the ceiling. So Yuru blames the bow, saying it needs to be tuned up. The yin-yang demons are still rushing them, so they run to a safer spot where Jin calls up Gabai, asking her to give them some backup. Sadly, Gabai is currently hiding inside her jaw demon, while one creepy enemy demon is caught in its mouth and another is frantically trying to pull its buddy free. She asks Jin what on earth is happening, and he answers that they are dealing with some weird demons they've never seen before. Gabai calls him a total nerd and tells him to focus on doing his job and protecting Asa. Jin says that he's currently hurt, so he can't really fight at 100%, but Yuru and his demons are handling things for now. Gabai gets a bit annoyed when she hears Yuru's name, but she figures he can handle his own side of the fight. She questions Jin if she can just go wild on her end, and he tells her to go right ahead. The second she hears that, Gabai orders her jaw demon to bite down on the trapped attacker, and it does it instantly, chomping the demon's head clean off. The horse demon is way too terrified to even move now, and Gabai says in a scary tone that she's about to send it to join its friend in the afterlife. The horse demon tries to bolt, but Gabai's jaw demon easily catches up and snaps it up. After that, Gabai steps outside her room and spots a whole group of demons hanging around, glaring at her menacingly. Even so, she knows she isn't the one in trouble. She is the danger here, and tells her demon that they've got plenty of midnight snacks to eat tonight. On the flip side, Yuru and the others are still running from the yin-yang demons when Asa says she can put a stop to them. Yuru asks if she can actually pull that off, and Asa asks if she can get a hug once she shuts those demons down. Yuru says no, so she gets a little annoyed and tells Jin she's sorry if her moves wreck the house. They head into a room where Asa tells Yuru to distract the white demon for a second, so she can use her powers. He readies an arrow to do what she asked, but right as the two demons burst in, they combine together to unleash their full power before anyone can even react. Yuru and Asa suddenly find themselves stuck in completely different dimensions, while Jin and the others panic when they notice the twins have disappeared. The yin-yang demon tries to make a run for it after getting what it came for, but Blondie instantly calls down his turtle right on top of it, trapping the giant caterpillar right in its tracks. He points out that if this demon can make people disappear without a trace, it must have something to do with how Asa's parents vanished. He orders his turtle to get even heavier, pinning the yin-yang demon flat against the floor. Jin reminds him that he can't kill the demon or its master because they need to interrogate them for info, and Blondie says yes. Right then, his rabbit warns him that there are a ton of enemy demons outside, so Blondie immediately tells Jin to deal with them, while he keeps his focus on his target. Even the rabbit decides to take it easy and says he'll just stay back to guard his master, leaving Jin to reluctantly get ready for a fight. He knows that the old boss and his two top bodyguards are out of town, and their other skilled demon wielder is out of commission too. He realizes he has to win this fight completely on his own without any backup, and immediately gets serious as he pulls a Glock pistol out of his piranha. In the meantime, stuck inside the dark dimension, Asa keeps shouting out for Yuru and the others, but nobody can hear her. She suddenly loses all her confidence when she realizes she is completely alone. since it takes her back to the days when she was trapped inside the village temple. She starts shaking and sweating when suddenly she hears Right's voice telling her that she isn't alone. That scares Asa more than anything else, and she starts looking all around to figure out where he's talking from. Right tells her that it's way too dark to see anything, but promises her that he is standing right beside her. He mentions that this pitch-black darkness feels totally unnatural, since it doesn't even get this dark back at Higashi village. All of a sudden, he notes that he smells something really bad, which turns out to be Asa's fear. He asks if she's terrified of the dark, and remembering her rough childhood, she answers that she's terrified of being left alone in the dark. Right then, Right walks up to her and gently taps her head, saying the scent of her fear guided him straight to her. He tells her she doesn't need to be scared, since he's right there with her, and Asa actually starts leaning into the comforting head pats like a cat before remembering that Yuru disappeared too. She quickly and anxiously asks about him, and he answers that he can't catch Yuru's scent anywhere in this area. Asa asks why Right isn't protecting his master, and he explains that Left is over there with Yuru, and that she's more than enough to keep him safe. He then tells Asa that he came in here specifically because he wanted to talk to her, which catches her completely off guard. Right reminds her about how she attacked him without any warning the first time they met, and how since he arrived at the mansion, she hasn't even said hello to him. He asks her why that is, and Asa says that when he stopped her break attack back in the village, it reminded her of something her parents used to teach her. They told her that the Right and Left guardians have the power to counter the abilities known as break and seal if they ever get out of control, and Right tells her she hits the nail right on the head. He calls himself her natural enemy with a creepy smile, and Asa realizes that Left will become Yuru's natural enemy too, if he ever gets the power to seal. At the exact same time, Left drops down right next to Yuru, who is totally lost inside the white dimension. He asks the Guardian where they are, and Left tells him she's never seen a place like this before in her life. Yuru remarks that they are standing on solid ground, but the bright white light everywhere is really messing with his eyes. Left explains that when she tried flying up earlier, she hit a ceiling, which means this area is a barrier meant to keep them locked inside. Yuru freaks out a little bit hearing that, but then asks Left to help him calibrate his aim with his new bow. She's kind of confused by how casual he's being, and Yuru tells her his dad always taught him to keep his gear in top shape and always be ready for a fight, so he figures he might as well tune his bow while they are trapped here. Left questions him if he isn't scared being in such a weird place, and Yuru answers that nothing has made any sense anywhere ever since his village got raided, so he's pretty much used to being confused by now. But anyway, he asks Left to hold up his machete above her head to use as a target. While he tries to tweak his aim, he misses by a mile on his first attempt, hitting Left right in the head instead. Yuru freaks out and apologizes, but Left tells him to keep going, since she's made out of solid stone, and arrows won't do anything to hurt her. Yuru misses another shot completely, and starts stressing out, unable to figure out what's wrong with the bow. Left asks him if he isn't worried about his sister, and Yuru replies that she has the power of break, so she should be able to bust out of that barrier all on her own. Meanwhile, back in the real world, the turtle senses something weird, and quickly jumps down. Blondie asks what's going on, and the turtle points at the yin-yang demon, which suddenly splits open like a saw, and Right pops right out of it using her powers. Everyone is super happy to see her, but Asa has something more important to handle first. She uses her powers to break the contract between the yin-yang demon and its master, and then requests the doctor for her blood. She pours the bottle of blood on the demon to form a new contract, and it immediately accepts her as its new boss. The demon starts acting all cute with Left, who is totally surprised by how sweet it is. She questions if it gulped down her brother, and when the demon nods yes, Asa quickly tells it to spit him out. Right after that, the monster throws up Yuru and Right, who immediately aim their weapons right back at it. Asa tells them to hold on, since the monster is with them, and Yuru tells her to explain himself before he fires. Asa explains that the demon works for her now, and Blondie mentions it might know something about their missing parents. Yuru lowers his weapon when he hears this, and Asa gets straight to the point, asking the demon about its old master. The yin-yang demon totally snitches on its owner, who is hiding right outside the room. But Asa can't see him in the dark, so the guy thinks he can run away. But out of nowhere, an arrow from Yuru hits his shoulder. He tells Left to grab the guy, while Asa is completely amazed by how good of a hunter her brother is. Right at that moment, Jin is walking unsteadily through the house, telling regular people to hide as bad demons sneak up right behind him. He doesn't even care about them because his massive piranha eats them up, while the smaller one throws grenades at the demon users hiding in the dark. He isn't afraid to do the dirty work himself either. As soon as his piranhas finish off the demons trying to trick him, he shoots their master from up close. Right then, Gabby shows up and says she took out 5 weak guys along the way, though she didn't know who any of them were. Jin says he didn't recognize them either, but suddenly, he spots someone behind him. He turns to fire, but surprisingly, the guy is already down with an arrow stuck in his arm. Jin figures out Yuru took him down, but he's clueless about where he's shooting from. Yuru is actually up on the mansion roof, acting like Batman with a bow. He feels someone hiding in the bushes, but decides not to shoot him, and moves to a different spot instead. On the other hand, the samurai guy hiding in the bushes realizes he can't beat Yuru in a direct fight, because he'll get shot before he can even get close. He decides to give up, because he doesn't want to die like the other idiots in this random group. At the same time, another attacker wants to escape, since his demons are already gone, but as he runs for the gate, he crashes into something and falls over. He panics when he sees a massive eye, and right then, Baldy shows up with a crowbar and beats the absolute crap out of him. After a bit, everyone gathers in the messy rooms, and Yuru tells Jin there must be a better way to treat guests than making them fight off intruders. Jin apologizes and thanks Yuru for the help, but Yuru honestly replies that he doesn't care about them, and only did it to find his parents. Right then, Gabby walks in too, and instantly starts picking a fight with Yuru. Asa manages to quiet them down, since they need to deal with the attackers they caught alive. Gabby asks Jin what they're going to do with them, and he says the boss will make the final call, but they can question them until he gets back. Blondie offers to do it, and walks over to the thug who used to own the yin-yang demons. The thug tells them he got paid a ton of cash to kidnap the twins, but he has no clue who actually hired him. Blondie doesn't even waste time talking, and summons his turtle right onto the thug's lap, crushing his legs right away. The guy instantly gives up, so Blondie asks who hired him. The thug swears on his mom that he knows nothing, saying he met the rest of the crew for the first time today. He points out that a bearded guy in a camo jacket seemed to be the boss, which makes Baldy gasp, because he basically smashed that guy's head in. Jin is annoyed to hear this, and then asks the thug if he knows anything about the twins' parents who vanished from a plane. He swears again that he is completely clueless, and Yuru gets really disappointed. Nobody else knows anything either. Asa apologizes to him, because she knows he came all this way just to look for their parents, but they have zero clues. Just at that moment, Jin asks if anyone else wants to ask this guy anything, and Asa puts her hand up. She asks the thug what his demons' names are, and he says he just calls them Hey or You, because they're basically just property to him, so he doesn't waste time naming them. He claims they'll get too comfortable if they have names, and his reply totally pisses Gabby off. She shoves the guy's head right inside her jaw demon's mouth, squeezing it just enough to make it bleed. The guy gets terrified that he's about to get eaten alive like in Attack on Titan, but Gabby decides to let him live and goes back to her space. Following that, Asa chooses to give names to the monsters herself, and they start cuddling up to her because they are super happy about it. She tells them not to get too excited, since she's only their temporary boss, and then asks them to shrink down because their current size is getting annoying. They instantly turn into cute little semicolon demons, and Yuru tries to start up a conversation. He asks Asa if she's used to killers coming after her like this, and she says yes, explaining that the village has sent plenty of people to take her out. Out of nowhere, Yuru gestures toward her eye patch and asks if that happened during an attack too. The whole room goes completely quiet, and Asa nods, but then she chooses to be completely honest with her brother. She tells him she actually died once because of a village assassin, and Yuru doesn't even know what to say, since Asa is clearly standing right there alive. The shock makes Yuru remember the time he almost died himself, just a couple of days before his parents ran away from the village. He was out hunting with his dad when a thug jumped him out of nowhere. The guy pinned him to the ground with a knife right in front of his face, making him realize it was kill or be killed. Yuru stabbed the thug in the belly, and right then, an arrow hit the guy's neck and killed him on the spot. The arrow came from Yuru's dad, who quickly ran over to check if his kid was all right, seeing the guy's blood all over Yuru's clothes, if his kid was doing okay. When he saw the thug's blood on his clothes, he saw that what happened really messed Yuru up. He gave Yuru a hug and said sorry, but told him to keep that killer instinct in mind, since he'd probably have to deal with it a lot down the road, and he should never back down from protecting himself against anyone trying to hurt him. After the talk, Yuru watched his dad get rid of the body, but no matter what he tried, he just couldn't shake the nerves. His dad told him it's totally normal to feel freaked out, and when it happens, he just needs to take a few deep breaths and just let the panic pass. He made it clear that hunters like them need to lock down this skill, because when you're up against wild animals, you have to keep a clear head and stay calm to make it out alive. Later that evening, while hanging out by the fire for dinner, Yuru's dad warned him not to tell anyone back home about getting jumped by a bandit. Yuru didn't really get it, since he figured they should warn the neighbors in case the guy's crew came looking for payback. But his dad was positive they wouldn't show up, and told Yuru to just play it cool and act like everything was totally fine. The following day, the second they got back to the village, the nosy neighbors started asking if they were all right, since it was pretty weird for them to spend the night out in the woods. Yuru's dad smoothly lied and said they just lost track of time while hunting, and when they asked where the meat was, he basically told them to mind their own business. But the questioning didn't stop there. Right after they got inside, old Granny Yamaha caught them and said everyone was stressing out when they didn't come back last night. The dad tried to shrug it off, but she walked right up to Yuru and asked what the deal was with the blood on his shirt. With Yuru completely frozen, his dad casually lied and said it was from a rat they cooked up for dinner, then quickly switched topics by asking where Asa went. Yuru and his dad headed down to the basement where Asa and Yuru's mom were super worried waiting around for them. Seeing both of them safe and sound, they instantly let out a huge sigh of relief. Even though he hated lying, Yuru promised Asa that everything was totally fine, and that he was just exhausted because he was too jittery to sleep while camping out in the wild. The awkward vibe in the room finally went away, but it didn't last very long, because while the twins were happily chatting away, Yuru's dad muttered something to the mom that clearly freaked her out. Just a few days after that whole mess, his parents ditched the village with Asa, leaving Yuru all by himself. But the absolute worst part was discovering that the girl in the cage, the one he thought was his sister for a whole decade, was a fake, and literally everyone in town had been lying to him. As Yuru looked back at these memories with a whole new perspective, he figured he might as well listen to Asa's wild story about dying. She said that once she and her parents ran away, they were hunted by tons of enemies. They managed to lose all of them, and barely got by until the Kejimori crew took them under their wing. Following that, things were pretty quiet until her parents vanished. A year ago, right when she turned 15, a hitman from the village caught her and ended up taking her life. But instead of just fading into nothing, she woke up in a whole different realm where a masked monster with some crazy break power lived, standing there in the middle of pitch darkness and literal bones. Asa thought she might have landed in hell. When it heard this, the monster laughed and asked what kind of crazy life she had lived to just assume she went straight to hell. It then told her that they were in a place right between life and a dark place known as the Shadow Realm. Asa realized that everything her dad said about the legend was actually true, and that twins born in their town on the exact day when day and night are completely balanced are fated to go to the Shadow Realm and control monsters. The monster backed up the story and said the townspeople probably offed her just to trigger her hidden abilities. It gave her a couple of choices. She could either stay dead or team up with the creature and take its break power. If she played her cards right, the monster claimed Asa could literally control how the world ends up with that power, though it also dropped a warning that most people would just treat her like a tool. Right then, Asa seriously thought about choosing death, since her parents were already gone, but then she suddenly thought of Yuru and panicked. She asked the monster if he had passed away too, and went into the underworld, but the demon told her she wouldn't know, since he was going to be sent to the demon holding the sealing power. Asa realized she couldn't die without finding out what happened to her brother, mostly because she and her parents left him behind in a village full of people who wanted him dead. Since she refused to die before saving him, she chose to take on the power of break and head back to the living world. As soon as she woke up, she realized she was still tied to the chair where the hitmen had left her. While she was still bleeding out, she quietly listened to her killers arguing about how they messed up, since she hadn't come back to life yet. The female killer then told the guy not to worry, saying even if they failed this time around, they could just target the other twin next to get the sealing power. She also mentioned that because Yuru was brainwashed by the village, it would be way easier to catch and control him. Asa decided she had heard enough and used her new powers to break free from the ropes holding her hands. One of her eyes started to glow as she attacked them, ending the totally one-sided fight with just a single hit. A little bit later, Gabai found Asa sitting right next to the two dead killers. Gabai felt really bad for Asa because she had never taken a life before this, but Asa muttered that she had fully accepted the path laid out for her now, even if it meant getting her hands dirty. Now that she was done explaining the story of her death and how she revived, Asa apologized to Yuru for no longer being the sweet, innocent sister he used to know. In the meantime, Gabai went back to her room and found two straw dolls shaped like a horse and a bull. She figured they were what was left of the demons she beat during the raid, and decided to respect them by burying the dolls out in the backyard. The following day, as the Kajimori clan was cleaning up the wreckage from the previous night's raid, Dara showed up at the main gate of the estate and announced that he was there to pick up Yuru. Jin got news of his arrival right away and told Yuru, who wasn't quite sure how to deal with the situation. He realized he didn't actually know whether to trust Dara or the Kajimori family, so he figured it would be best to hear both sides out together. Because of that, he told Jin to let Dara inside. As they walked over to the front door to meet Dara, they were stopped by that weird guy Asuma, who brought up how trash the mansion looked. When Jin explained that a bunch of demon users had raided the place last night, Asuma acted like he was clueless. Jin found it really hard to believe he didn't know, given how amazing his hearing is, and called him out for purposefully avoiding the fight. But Asuma just boldly claimed that he had slept through the entire thing. Just then, a massive guy named Shigeru walked in and asked if there had been an earthquake or something. Once Asuma caught him up on what happened, Shigeru started looking around frantically to check if Asa was alright, which is when he noticed Yuru for the very first time. He recognized him instantly as Asa's twin brother and was just really happy that she finally found him. But his happiness quickly turned to panic when he saw the two massive demons on the right and left staring him down. It wasn't every day he ran into people who were bigger than he was. As the group kept walking toward the entrance, Shigeru apologized for not being around to help out during the chaos. He mentioned how crazy it was that the mansion's barrier got broken through, saying they all needed to stay on guard because nowhere was safe anymore. Just as they stepped into the front yard, Shigeru noticed a car pulling up, which belonged to his dad and Kajimori clan boss, Gonzo. Right after Gonzo, Dara stepped out of the vehicle, which completely threw Jin off. Gonzo explained that he ran into Dara outside the gates and gave him a lift after finding out he was Yuru's guardian. He then walked up, shook Yuru's hand, and told him he was glad to finally meet him. He immediately started complimenting and messing around with Right, and left while Jin kept a really close eye on Dara. He thought it was super shady that Dara, who belongs to the Tatara clan that serves Higashi village, just showed up completely unprotected right at the Kajimori clan's home base, especially since his clan had always stayed completely hidden until now. Jin wasn't the only one feeling tense though, since even Loki wanted to take Dara out right then and there. Yuru picked up on all the bad vibes and wondered what the Tatara clan had done to make the Kajimoris hate them so much, but he decided to ignore that for the moment. Rather, he confronted Dara, and left for hiding the fact that dying would unlock the sealing powers for him. If he passed away, Dara replied that he wasn't completely sure if the old stories were even true, and he was aware of that. If Yuru knew, he would probably do something reckless with his life. If his sister got into trouble, since he would just get a false sense of safety. Right and Left agreed with Dara, pointing out there's absolutely no promise that he'd actually come back to life if he ended up dying. Left mentioned that the last time twins like Asa and Yuru were born around 400 years ago, one of them stayed dead after losing their life. Yuru and Asa were completely quieted by that news, but Gonzo quickly broke the heavy mood by saying no one should have intense talks like this on an empty stomach, and asked if everyone was ready to eat. Since everyone was totally wiped out from the fight the night before, they all got excited for food. So Gonzo told his staff to get breakfast ready, as everyone headed back inside the house to grab a bite. Asa was just incredibly happy to finally share a meal with her brother after 10 whole years. Gonzo led the group to the main dining hall for breakfast, but the room was completely wrecked from last night's brawl. Shigeru asked if he should clean it up, and Gonzo gave him the green light. Shigeru stepped into the space and called out his first demon, which looked like a white flame on his shoulder. Right and Left were taken aback by the flame demon, but what really blew their minds was what it could actually do. Shigeru just gestured with his hand toward the broken flooring, and it mended itself instantly, even though it left a blank white spot. He then brought out his second demon, a dark fire, and used its power to add the colors and details back onto the floor he just fixed. He did the exact same thing for the smashed windows and the broken furniture, and pretty soon, the entire room looked brand new again. Yuru couldn't believe his eyes, so he went over to check the floor himself and asked Shigeru how he even did that. The big guy told him his demons are named Black and the color White. White can basically fix up whatever he wants, while Black uses its skill to fill in all the specific details of the object. Yuru didn't even know what a manga was. Dara, on the flip side, had actually heard of Shigeru before. The big guy got a bit shy about being recognized and mentioned that he makes a pretty good living doing his work. Plus, since the Kagemori family has a scary reputation, he usually keeps it quiet that he's part of the family. Dara was pretty surprised to hear that, so Shigeru decided to share an even wilder fact with him. He let slip that Asuma, and Jin are actually brothers, with him being the oldest brother, and Jin being the baby of the family. Yuru couldn't believe a grumpy middle-aged guy like Jin was the youngest, and Jin got super annoyed by his reaction. Shigeru then added that they have different moms, which is why they don't really look alike. Asuma brought up that since Shigeru is the oldest son, he's next in line to lead the Kagemori family, and told Yuru that staying on his good side would pay off down the road. Shigeru immediately shut down the idea of running their sketchy family business, saying he was perfectly happy with his calm and normal job. Dara walked right over to a wooden post and told Shigeru his repair work wasn't finished because the wood he fixed was just black and it's white. Shigeru answered that the colors from around the room would naturally blend into the new wood over time, so it would look normal later. But all of a sudden, he spotted something weird. He got annoyed with himself because he messed up the details on the post, forgetting that it should have worn out edges, since it was pretty old. He noticed he messed up the floor mat too, since it should look way more beaten up. He wanted to fix everything the right way, but Jin told him to drop it, since they needed to eat breakfast first. Right after, the staff walked in with the food, and Gonzo told everyone to just sit wherever they liked, because they are a modern family, so old-school seating arrangements didn't matter to them. Yuru spotted two tiny sumo wrestlers bringing a stack of cushions over to him. He just stared at the two tiny creatures in total shock, as a worker came over to grab the cushions and told him to have a seat. The mini sumos then set up cushions for Right and Left, who told Gonzo that it wasn't necessary, since they don't eat normal food, but he insisted that they treat all visitors the same way. Pretty soon, everyone dug in, and Jin asked Dara how he even found out Yuru was staying there. Dara just laughed and said it was a secret, so Jin asked him if Higashi village sent the demon users who raided the place the night before. Dara casually replied that he had absolutely no idea, and added that he had zero reasons to go after the twins anyway. Jin muttered that the timing was incredibly fishy, since the raid happened right after Yuru got to the mansion. In the meantime, Yuru was focused on eating, while Asa was just totally fangirling over him. Jin asked Dara if the rumors were true that the Tatara family could pass through barriers, and he answered that he can't get through other families' wards. Dara then looked over at Asa asking if the Kajimori family had been treating her right. Asa coldly told him not to worry about her, because she was doing perfectly fine there. She said killers couldn't get to her inside the Kajimori estate, even though they somehow broke in last night. The doctor mentioned she didn't want Asa leaving the property, because hitmen were always waiting outside for a chance. Still, there are times when they can't handle her medical needs at the house, so she has to visit real hospitals. Asa chimed in that she was actually at a clinic when the Higashi village killers grabbed her. Dara was shocked to hear that, and asked Asa if she had been sick. She replied it was just a stomach ulcer, and then started giving him a really dark look, saying she got it from the endless stress of knowing killers were hunting her down. Dara got a bit freaked out by her vibe, and apologized, even though he had nothing to do with the hits. He then asked Asa about her official family records, since she can't get health insurance without them. Asa says she doesn't have an official family record. She planned to get it through her mom's family, since her mom belonged to this world, but her parents went missing right during a flight. This really shocks Dara, because he had no idea the twins' parents had disappeared. He mentions that nobody in the village has talked about this, and feels sure Higashi village isn't behind it. Gonzo straight up says he doesn't buy that, so Dara explains he has only killed people who tried to raid the village. He has never targeted anyone like the village extremists do. He tells Gonzo he came unarmed just to pick up Yuru peacefully, to show he wants no trouble. He adds that someone from the Kajimori family probably attacked the parents, since they don't all share the same goals. Dara then asks Gonzo what his plans are for the twins, and the old man answers that the twins' power always causes global chaos. He is looking for Yuru and Asa to be the very last cursed twins, and aims to wipe out Higashi village, so no more twins can ever be born. Gonzo starts badmouthing Higashi village, calling it an old-fashioned place that still wants to rule the world. But times have moved on, and they can't just do whatever they want anymore. He says that as descendants of the village, it's their job to destroy it for good. But Asuma instantly speaks up against that. He says only people chosen by gods get special powers, and they should use those skills to run the world peacefully. He wants Higashi village to stay standing, but wants a proper organization to manage it. Yuru listens closely to everything, and looks at his guardians, reminding them that when he asked if the twins were cursed kids who bring destruction, they said no right away. They said wars only start because people try to exploit their power. Yuru mentions he felt relieved knowing he isn't the one to blame, and it made him feel like he has a right to live. After that, he finishes his breakfast and points at Asa, noting that she keeps saying sorry for everything, even for things she didn't do. He asks who is making her feel so guilty all the time. He wants to know why anyone else should run their lives when they aren't hurting a soul. Yuru says that, since the Kajimori family isn't all on the same page, he wants the radicals to listen to what he has to say, and he tells Dara to give this same warning to everyone in Higashi village too. He states that he has no plans to run away, so anyone who wants to come after him can bring their absolute best. He will take them down, and then force all the answers out of them. Dara tries to make him chill out, but Asa suddenly stands up and calls Yuru the biggest idiot in the entire world. Yuru gets a bit scared of her, and Asa tells him he's only this confident because he has never deals with killers trying to hunt him down 24/7. She says she doesn't want him dealing with what she went through, so he needs to run and hide to stay safe. Asa looks at the guardians, expecting them to reason with their master, but they are practically glowing with excitement that Yuru wants to fight, and that they'll get plenty of action. Gabai agrees with Yuru too, saying it's great that he wants to share Asa's load, so it's a good move. So, Yuru didn't see it that way at all, and he feels awkward being treated like a hero when he was just trying to act tough. Right then, Gonzo questions Yuru if he wants to join the Kajimori family, since he'll be safe and live easily. Yuru rejects it immediately, reminding Gonzo that he just called the village an awful place that needs to be destroyed. Even so, he was born there and grew up in that place, and he cares about the people back home. He thanks Gonzo for the offer, but says he can't team up with the people who raided his home. He wants to find his parents before doing anything else, though even Dara doesn't think he should look for them right away. But anyway, Dara questions Gonzo and Asa if they can head out now, and Asa suddenly bows to him and the guardians, begging them to keep her brother safe. After that, they go outside, and Asa stops right at the main gate, telling Yuru she can't cross the boundary line, or people targeting her power will attack her. Yuru remembers how Asa couldn't leave her cage in the village, thinking that while her prison is bigger now, she's still not truly free. Just at that moment, Asa shows him a photo of their parents from before they went missing, along with Yuru, along with his spirits, loses it because they've never seen a photograph before. Asa decides to show him how a camera works by taking a selfie, and while Yuru is completely shocked and amazed by it, she is happy she tricked him into getting a photo together. Right and left want a photo too, but sadly, regular cameras can't capture spirits. Yuru then asks Asa to let him see their parents' picture again, since he hasn't seen them in 10 years. Asa says she'll send him a printed copy soon, and Yuru gets really happy about that. She asks for his address, but he doesn't know it, so Asa's trick to find out where he lives fails. She tries asking Dera, but he doesn't trust her enough to give out personal details. Jin mentions it would be great if they had a way to keep in touch, and asks for his email, but Dera shuts that down too. Jin comes up with a better plan, and hands him a business card for a bar his family owns. He tells Dera to mention his name, and the bar staff will help them pass messages. Dera happily takes it, because he plans to get free drinks on Jin's tab. He then thanks the Kajimori family for breakfast, and steps outside their barrier. But before they head off, Asa has one last thing to tell Yuru. She tells him their parents were heartbroken about leaving him in the village. They really wanted to bring him too, but Granny Yamaha stopped them, and they could barely escape with just her. Yuru gets choked up hearing this, and says knowing this alone made the whole trip worth it. Asa can't hold back when she hears that, and runs past the barrier to hug him tightly. Yuru is totally caught off guard, and then Asa puts her hand on his back, telling him to stay safe. She runs back inside right after, and as the gate shuts, Yuru drops to his knees. Everyone worries that Asa did something to him, but Yuru says he just totally let his guard down. If she were a bear, he'd be dead right now. He then starts crying, saying this girl is definitely Asa, because she used to pat his back exactly like that when they were little. At the same time, Asa tells Jin not to put a spy on her brother, because trust matters, and he says yes, but clearly Asuma doesn't care, and sends a butterfly to follow Yuru. A bit later, Yuru and his group walk out of the Kajimori property, and Dera is already thinking about drinking for free at Jin's bar. All of a sudden, he notices Yuru looks pretty down, so he decides to cheer him up by suggesting that, since they are already out in the city, they should look around and learn a bit about the modern world. Yuru has no idea what he means, but pretty soon, Dera takes him onto a boat, and Yuru can't take his eyes off the window, while his spirits have a blast up on the deck. After that, Dera takes him for a subway ride, which completely freaks Yuru out again. But when they visit a racetrack, he feels totally lost, because everyone around is cheering and shouting like crazy. When the race ends, Yuru mentions that the horses here are way bigger and faster than the ones back in his village. He really likes the winning horse, and asks Dera how much it costs to buy. Dera can't even guess the price of a racehorse, and tells Yuru to just forget it, offering to buy him standard stuff he actually needs to get by here. Yuru immediately says he badly needs arrows, because he doesn't have enough to deal with all the enemies hunting him. Dera wonders where on earth he can buy arrows, but then Yuru says he can just make them himself, if he gets the right supplies, which solves the problem. He takes Yuru straight to a home depot, where the kid and his two spirits are completely stunned to see so many items for sale in one place. Dera tells him to calm down and list what he needs, so Yuru asks for bamboo, string, and a pocket knife. He plans to use the feathers he sold Dera the other day to finish the arrows. But his main question is whether Home Depot sells deer, because he wants to boil down deer skin and organs to make traditional glue. Dera is totally grossed out by that, and tells Yuru to just use regular wood glue like a normal person. Once they grab everything, they walk up to the front desk, where the receptionist turns out to be a unique person who can see both sides. Clearly, she totally freezes up when she spots the two monsters, so she just goes into robot mode and keeps scanning the groceries before telling her boss that she needs to take a quick break because she is hallucinating. Right and left notice what happened too and mention to Yuru that the girl could spot them even though she is just a normal person. Then Dara mentions that regular people can sometimes see spirits when they are extremely tired and lack sleep. Moving on, Dara takes Yuru out to buy some new clothes, and Yuru panics thinking the mannequins are scarecrows. Dara tells him to pick out whatever he wants, and the edgy kid chooses a black jacket because it hides bloodstains well. Dara tells him to buy some underwear too, but Yuru prefers a loincloth like everyone wears in his village. Out of nowhere, he remembers something key and tells Dara that back when he hunted in the woods, some bandits tried to jump him. Of course, they were no match for him, and he killed them instead. But he noticed something odd about them. Their hands were way too clean compared to villagers whose hands and nails are always so much mud that it will never come clean. But still, the biggest detail was that one of them was wearing underwear just like these. So now Yuru is sure those bandits were actually modern hitmen sent to kill him. Right and left. Even so, the spirits think it's likely the other way around. They tell Yuru the village must have hired the assassins and dressed them up like normal city people, so he wouldn't suspect his own people if he died and lost his sealing power. Yuru says that even though he hates to think his village would betray him, he can't fully trust them anymore. Dara notes that only he and a tiny group of people actually know how to get into Higashi village, which makes Yuru happy to hear because it makes his target list a lot shorter. Left asks him a question, if they are going to attack those people, and Yuru says yes, stating they'll strike them down when they least expect it. Dara totally expected that kind of answer from them, and Yuru says they need to take the high ground, since that's how hunters win their battles. With that, he warns Dara that they are being followed, but Dara is already on top of it. He says 3 guys are trailing them, and tells Yuru to keep looking straight ahead. Yuru guesses they might be from the Kejimori clan, telling Dara his plan to stay hidden is completely ruined anyway, because he was in that selfie Asa took. Dara just tells him to stay calm. The mansion has a lot of security cameras that would have caught his face. He had already thought about this before deciding to visit the Kejimori mansion. Asa is looking at a photo of herself with Yuru. She swipes to check out his solo picture, but her mood gets ruined when she notices Dara photobombing her brother. She immediately asks Gemini to crop him out of the photo, even if Pope Leo wouldn't approve of it. Right then, Jin walks in and asks her to share Dara's picture with him. He thinks Dara could be dangerous, and they need to keep tabs on him. Asa casually replies that Dara isn't in any of her photos. Surprised by this, Jin tells Blondie to check the security cameras instead. Further inside the mansion, Gonzo is questioning the attackers they caught. The tanned guy says the man in the camo jacket was their boss, and he called them last night to offer them a job. The girl shows her call history to Gonzo, explaining that she got the call around midnight, and the guy got it around the same time too. Blondie points out that their fight with Yuru ended at that exact time, after which they came to the mansion. Jin asks them when they broke into the mansion, and they say they got inside just before 2:00 a.m. This shocks everyone, because the security is super tight at night, and only family members or invited guests can pass the gate. Gonzo asks both prisoners if anyone from the clan was at the gate to let them in, and the guy says nobody was there. But the girl reminds him that they used the west gate, which was completely unlocked and open. This really blows the minds of Gonzo and the others because the mansion doesn't even have a west gate. The guy is absolutely sure they entered through the west gate, but Jin tells him that the whole west side is just a wall. Gonzo feels he can't trust what the prisoners are saying, so he tells his guard Kuro to take over. Kuro steps up and calls out his demon, which looks like a pair of extra arms growing from his back. These arms grab the girl's demons, and she loses her mind. But Gabai tells her to chill out, because Kuro isn't going to hurt her. Then he calls out his second demon, which is a talking book that reveals everything about the 2 demons and their boss, like her address, her parents' divorce, and her sick mother's medical bills. Kuro pauses the book for a bit to give the girl some privacy, and reads the rest of the details quietly. Once he has finished with those demons, he moves to the yin-yang demons that are working for Asa right now. and checks the history of the thug who used to own them. Kuro confirms that these two guys actually met for the first time last night. After hearing that, Gonzo stands up and says, since neither of them knows who planned the attack, and they only took the job because they needed quick cash, they should just work for him instead. He promises the girl that he will even pay for her mother's hospital bills. The guy gets super excited hearing this, and questions Gonzo if he can clear his gambling debts too, but he gets hit in the face with a sandal instead. Once everything is settled, Gonzo walks out with his guards and tells them to use these two new recruits as frontline backup. He also orders them to put the other captured demon users to work and keep looking into the matter. And once they find out who planned this, he wants them to take out that guy, along with anyone helping him. At the same time, Asa and the others start cleaning up the mess and fixing the house. The guy asks Asa if he can get his demons back. She tells him to say sorry to them and give them some proper names, which he agrees to do right away. But still, the yin-yang demons aren't in the mood to forgive him yet, and Gabai suggests that Asa should just keep them because they have really cool powers. On the other side, Yuru and Dera walk out of the supermarket while the spies keep following them. Yuru feels bad about leaving Dera's machete behind at the Kejimori house, but Dera is actually glad it happened because he didn't want Yuru swinging a giant blade in the middle of the city anyway. Dera tells him if he requires weapons, he can grab some from his place, and Yuru questions if that's a good idea since people are tailing them. Dera doesn't care at all and guides Yuru to his house through some confusing streets. His place is packed with weapons, ranging from axes to rocket launchers, and Dera tells Yuru to pick whatever he likes. He just picks up an axe when suddenly, and Left alerts them both that there are monsters nearby. Dara gets ready for a fight and catches the three spies who followed him inside. They whip out their guns the moment they spot him, but Dara disarms one while the Guardians pin down the other two. The last guy tries to run away, but suddenly a thick fog surrounds him, and when it clears up, he finds himself completely lost in an empty area. Dara tells him this house is the Tatara clan's secret hideout, and it exists in the exact same dimension as Higashi village. He's the only one who knows how to get out, and warns the spy to confess everything if he doesn't want to get stuck there and pass away. The spy tries to bolt, but trips over the skeleton of an old Kejimori agent who made the mistake of following Dara before. Right and Left interrupt the questioning to say they can still feel other demons around. Dara mentions that the Tatara house itself is actually a demon, but the Guardians say they aren't talking about the house, which instantly puts Yuru and Dara on high alert. All of a sudden, a long whip-like arm hits one of the spies and rips his head off. Everyone watches in shock as a creepy demon with incredibly long arms climbs out of a nearby well, smiling creepily, while Yuru and Dara get ready to fight. The demon's partner attacks another spy while doing a crazy-looking squat with its super long legs. The two weird demons team up and start mocking the Guardians, who are really angry to see them. Left drops the surviving spy near Yuru and tells him to run away from there because these demons are actual monsters that he can't handle yet. But she is dying to fight, and Right is too, who seems to recognize these demons. Dara forces the knocked-out old lady spy to wake up, and she instantly starts screaming in terror at the sight of the monsters. Noticing how she reacted, Dara realizes these demons don't belong to her, and he starts worrying about how an unknown group managed to find the Tatara's hidden house and what they want. He then looks at Right and Left for answers since they seem to know the monsters. Left explains that they faced these demons named Longlegs and Longarms a really long time ago. Even in the past, the long-legged monsters caused a lot of trouble in the northern part of the village. So with the help of a traveling monk who had sealing powers, they managed to trap them inside a mountain. Right then asks the demons how they broke out of the mountain, and they reply that their new master broke the seal and freed them after more than 1,000 years. And now that they're back, they want to get revenge on Right, one side, and the priest. Unfortunately for them, Right and Left have no clue where the monk is, saying he was last seen back at that mountain. Dara tries to remember the old stories about Longlegs and Longarms. He remembers they were a nightmare for farmers because they used to ruin fields and flood them with water brought from nearby streams. Longlegs and Longarms get really mad hearing this and swear that the villagers spread fake rumors about them while they were trapped. Actually, all they did was attack a few innocent people, and looking at the group here, they choose Yuru as their next target. Then they ask left and right who their current master is, guessing that, if they are out, a pair of twins must have been born, and the one with the sealing power might be standing right there. Out of nowhere, Dera shouts out right and their names and orders them to attack Longlegs and Longarms. Right is about to snap at Dera, but he locks eyes with left and realizes this is just an act. He quickly changes how he talks and plays along with his master's orders. Longlegs and Longarms fall for the trick and immediately rush after Dera, thinking he is the one controlling right and left. They throw their long limbs forward to grab him, but right and left block them. They seem to be winning at first, but Longarms quickly slips out of right's grip and starts smashing his head into the dirt. At the same time, Longlegs also creates some space from the other guy, starts spinning his legs super fast, and uses that force to kick left away. Dera fires a bunch of bullets at the demons, but this only makes them angrier and turns their focus back to him. Longarms slaps the gun, breaking it right in half, and goes to strike again, but right jumps in to block it. Right now, the demons notice that nobody is using any sealing power and figure that the real user isn't even here. They start loving the idea of beating left and right, who are way weaker without that sealing backup. Meanwhile, Dera slips away and meets up with Yuru and the old lady, who are hiding behind some rocks. He thanks Yuru for taking cover without being told, but Yuru ignores that and instead asks Dera if he's hurt and why he faked being right and left's boss. Dera explains that he's just doing his job to protect Yuru, and also because he promised Asa he would keep him safe. Yuru is still upset and argues that he can fight too. The old woman spy is shocked to hear this and wonders how a young kid like him thinks he can take on Longlegs and Longarms. He quickly makes her quiet by pointing his axe at her, and Dera takes the opportunity to ask if she is working with the Cage Morris, or Higashi village. Scared of the axe, she quickly admits she was sent by the Cage Morris, but Yuru wants more details, since not everyone in the Kagemori family is on the same side. Terrified, she confesses that the second son, Asuma, sent her. She says she was only told to follow Yuru and Dera without hurting them, and she never expected to get caught up in this scary demon mess. Dera decides the old lady isn't a threat and asks her to help out since she must be a demon user too. But the old lady explains that she and the other spies left their demons behind so that right and left wouldn't spot them while they were tailing the group. Dera yells at her for being useless, so she suggests they just leave Longlegs, which is when she points out they should just leave Longlegs, just like the Tataras did with the other spies. Dera figures that won't work, since these demons and their boss probably know how to come and go as they please. Yuru then suggests going after their master, who must be hiding nearby, since demons always stay close to protect their owner. Dera thinks this is a solid plan, especially because Longlegs and Longarms aren't paying any attention to Yuru right now, so they finally decide to split up. Dera will keep pretending to be right and left's master, while Yuru and the old lady look for the hidden demon boss. The old lady shakes with fear at first, but she quickly gets her act together and pulls out a bunch of hidden knives, and the grandmother search for the secret monster master. The grandmother shakes with fear at first, but she quickly acts tough and pulls out a few hidden knives, explaining that she's just helping out, so they can wrap things up quickly, letting her get back to cook dinner for her husband. Dera tries to sneak into the weapons room from the backside of the house, but Longarm catches him in the act and smashes the nearby wall with a powerful swing. Dara barely manages to dodge the non-stop strikes, and luckily, Right shows up just in time and stomps hard Right on the arm. Longarms quickly grabs Right by the legs and twirls him around before throwing him up into the air. Dera is shocked by how far the demon can stretch his arms, but he's glad that the demon's wild attacks actually opened up a clear path into the weapons room. While Longarms keeps a helpless Right stuck up in the air, the twin demons start discussing how they are going to wipe out everyone. Longlegs suggests taking out their boss first, saying it would be way more fun to get rid of Right, and left once they realize they have no master left. Longarms thinks that's a great plan, but before they can take action, a massive bullet shoots straight through Longleg's eye. The demons freeze in absolute shock, completely clueless about where that came from. Hey Dara, who is hiding flat on the ground a good distance away, aims his sniper rifle once again. He feels he has the upper hand, since these demons were stuck inside a mountain for thousands of years and don't know anything about modern weapons. He fires another shot, this time taking off a piece of Longarm's leg and blinding Longleg's other eye. These quick, consecutive hits make Longlegs and Longarms drop left and right, who immediately grab the weakened demons and slam them right into each other. Even so, the demons quickly snap out of it, climbing on top of one another to launch a combined attack. Thanks to the higher view, Longarm spots the old woman hiding in the nearby bushes and snatches her up. He offers her to Longlegs as a quick bite to help him recover. As the old lady gets pulled closer and closer to the demon's open mouth, she gets terrified, wets herself, and reveals that Yuru is the twin chosen to inherit the seal's power. This actually makes the demons pause for a second as they figure out their next move. The old woman wants them to go after Yuru instead, planning to slash the tendons in Longarm's arm the moment they loosen their grip on her. But things don't work out the way she wants, because the demons decide they still need to eat her to heal their injuries first, and they begin to squeeze her head tightly. Right at that moment, a flying axe cuts into the demon's arm, making him drop the old lady, who gets caught by Raid before hitting the ground. The demons look over at the person who attacked, who turns out to be Yuru. He asks them to let the woman go and fight him instead, stating that he is the chosen twin and the actual master of right, and walked away. Longlegs and Longarms are completely confused about what to do, since Yuru hasn't unlocked the seal's power yet. If they kill him now, he will just come back to life with that power, and they might end up trapped somewhere for another 10 centuries. Longarms wonders if they can just take him out the moment he revives, but Longlegs mentions that right and Left would never let them do that. To their surprise, Yuru then commands Right and Left to hold back until he gives the word. Longlegs and Longarms don't waste any time and immediately rush in to attack. Yuru manages to dodge all their swings while Right and Left just stand completely still, telling the demons that they just need to target Yuru. As they rush after him, Yuru wonders how Longlegs can run so quickly without having any eyes. They yell out that it doesn't matter, because they fit together like two puzzle pieces, and they are at their absolute peak when combined in this true form. Longlegs breaks the boulders in their way, and Longarms hurls them at Yuru, who barely manages to escape. Listen, Dara, who is trying to get a clear line of sight from far away, finds it hard to get a shot because the demons are moving way too fast. Before he can take action, the demons throw a skull right at him, showing him that he can't pull off a surprise attack on them anymore. They promise to handle Dara right after they finish off Yuru. In the meantime, Yuru keeps dodging everything the demons throw his way and runs to hide behind the Tatara house. The demons lose track of him for a moment, giving him a chance to switch directions, but they quickly spot him again and smash him with an uprooted tree. Seeing Yuru lying totally motionless on the ground, the demons start figuring out what to do next. They talk about ripping his tongue out, so he won't be able to call Right and Left for backup while they finish him. But while they are laughing, Yuru snaps his eyes open, and the demons are suddenly struck with total terror. Yuru raises his hand up and clenches his fist. The demons start worrying that he already has the seal's power and was just keeping it a secret, waiting for the perfect moment to turn things around. As the demons panic and let their thoughts race, Yuru points out that he managed to fool them for just a brief second, and that single second was all Right and Left needed to find an opening. He then tells Right and Left to go wild, and they are already standing right behind the demons. Before the twins can even move, Right and Left shift into their true forms to rip Longlegs and Longarms apart. Following that, the battle becomes completely one-sided, with Right making sure the demons can't get back together, while Left quickly beats Longarms in a fight underwater, and Dara lands a clean shot that takes off Longlegs' head. Both demons end up crumbling away into a light fog, leaving nothing behind but their artifacts. Left checks out the artifacts and mentions that they still hold a ton of energy, saying those demons could have been like gods if they had used their abilities for something good. Right gives Yuru a pat on the back and praises him for pulling off that awesome bluff. Yuru nods and explains he remembered how a saint activated her break ability by closing and then opening her hand, so he figured things would work the exact opposite way for him. Everyone is totally impressed by his smart thinking, and they start hyping him up for beating the demons without using any special powers. The moment gets cut short when Left suddenly crushes a butterfly in her fist, claiming that this was actually the demon they had been sensing the whole time since leaving the Kage-Mori group, because its energy was so faint they couldn't trace it until right now. Dara figures out that the Kage-Moris probably sent the human teams out as distractions while this butterfly demon acted as the real spy. The old lady recognizes the butterfly as a piece of the second Kage-Mori son's demon and warns them that squashing it won't actually hurt the main demon at all. Deciding to worry about that issue later, the group goes to look around the area to find whoever was controlling the twin demons. Yuru guides everyone to a specific spot behind the house where he remembers Longlegs and Longarms intentionally avoided attacking. He gets down on his knees and looks under the floorboards to spot the hidden master, telling him to come on out. A scared voice asks from underneath if Yuru is going to kill him, which surprises Dara because the guy sounds like a total kid. But Yuru doesn't really care about that and tells him that what happens next depends entirely on how he behaves. After pausing to think, the kid finally crawls out with his hands up, promising to tell them everything they want to know. Yuru stares down at the young boy and asks him straight out if he was the master of Longlegs and Longarms, which the boy quickly admits to. He goes on to say his name is Ken Tatara and that someone told him he would be able to find his dad here. Yuru quickly pieces it together and blames Dara for running out on his own kid. Dara immediately denies it, but he slowly starts second-guessing himself as he thinks back to all his past relationships. He frantically asks for the name of Ken's mom, and Ken says her name is Abeba, which doesn't ring a bell at all. Dara insists there's no way he's the father. Ken doesn't look amused and saves Dara from his panic by revealing that his actual dad is Roy Tatara. Yuru tries to remember where he has heard the name Roy before. Dara explains that Roy is his own father, meaning Yuru probably met him back when he used to drop by Higashi village. He's about to say more, but he stops dead in his tracks as it suddenly hits him that Ken is actually his half-brother. When Ken mentions that he's